welcome to the Taylor Blueprint. I'm, of course, your host, Jaden Hughes, and today we have two very special guests from Healthy You Academy, an integrative health platform that's helping people live healthier, more peaceful lives by combining traditional and holistic medicine. We're going to talk about how their approach is empowering communities, why integrative medicine matters, and how their current initiative is helping individuals take charge in their own wellness. Let's jump right in. Tell us your name, your role at Healthy You Academy, and what brought you into this line of work.
I'm Dr. Michael Grimes. I'm a family practitioner. I'm the CEO of Healthy You Academy. And what brought me into this line of work is a passion to make wellness affordable in the community.
My name's Marshall Cannon. I am the Chief Marketing Officer, Creative Director. I am a business analyst. I am really a problem solver. And so my position in this is really bringing along the creative aspects and being able to make this available to the public in a way that allows us to really grow and reach as many individuals as possible.
What drew you specifically to integrative or holistic medicine?
Personal experience. Doctor came in the room and told me I'm going to put you on multiple medications and didn't give me any options. And as an MD, that's kind of how I was trained. But that was an eye-opening experience for me that maybe my patients would like other options. And up to that point, they had asked me more about holistic or integrative, and I was just shutting them down. So that kind of changed my perspective and opened the door for me.
And for me, it's more of my relationship with Dr. Grimes and being able to really help move the bar, change the perspective on healthcare, providing something that's more focused on preventative care and allowing us to then avoid some of the issues that happen later.
Right. Have you worked in traditional healthcare settings before, and how would you say this compares?
That's pretty much my background. Since I graduated from residency, I've worked in, had a private practice for 12 years and then joined a couple practices and a couple hospitals where I'm currently employed now. I think Healthy You as a academy, is a complete, I don't want to say a contrast. I think it gives us an opportunity to provide more options and opportunities for people to be more proactive and on the preventative stage versus then conventional, we're more reactive and something already has occurred.
What was the question?
It was, have you worked in traditional healthcare settings before, and how does this compare?
Yeah, I haven't worked in traditional healthcare at all. That's not my background.
Yeah, we bringing him in. He's coming into my world and I'm going to his world. That's why this is working so well.
So let's talk more about Healthy You Academy itself. What is it at its core, and how would you describe your mission and vision to someone hearing about it for the very first time?
I'm probably going to sound like a broken record, but basically making wellness affordable and providing credible information. Like I said, there's so much information out there, especially from the natural standpoint. And I think as a culture, the marketing has been set up to one pill, or there's a magic pill or a magic powder that solves everything. And we get all this advertising, you're overwhelmed with it. So I think for the average person, it's like, well, that looks good. And next commercial, well, that looks good. So before you know it, you might be on 20 supplements, not taking into consideration the medication you're already on.
Yeah.
So again, just not going in and like with the stop sign or being the police, but hey, how can we help you get a better understanding with this? So you should understand what you're taking, why you're taking it, and things of that nature, so you can work with your physician and know the right, hopefully ask the right questions. Why am I on this? Instead of just, I see some patients and they're on numerous medications and I'm like, well, what are you taking it for? What is this treating? And they're like, I don't know, you're the doctor, you tell me. Well, I didn't prescribe it. You came to me on it. I know what it's for, but I need to know why it was prescribed for you, and do you know why it was prescribed for you? And that's not always the case. So again, I think the main purpose is to be an advocate for the community and give options instead of, I think we sometimes, this condition is here and this condition's here and this condition's here, and we're treating them separately when a lot of times all of this is combined and we should be treating them as the whole person.
Yeah.
I'm just going to add on to that. A lot of times we talk about preventative care, and too often we're reactive care. We're reacting to a situation. We're dealing with the issue after the fact and never ahead of it. And at the same time, when we do react to it, it requires a prescription or it requires medication as the first form of taking care of that situation. And I think there are alternatives. As a former athlete myself, I have a hard time with medication as the answer, and really don't rely on medication primarily. Even if I'm sick, I'd like to go through whatever I'm going through to a point of dealing with the discomfort. Too often, I think we're in a society now where discomfort is the last thing people want to deal with. At the same time, that discomfort allows us to grow and get stronger. And so there's some level and some balance that we need to find. And I think this is a great way of looking at it and being able to accomplish it.
Yeah, I love that you put the individual at the center of it. Yes, it's a business, but at the end of the day, people's happiness and well-being is of first priority.
Oh, absolutely. I think if I could just add, yeah, there's three. Our foundation, or kind of one of our principles, are the 3 C's, we call them. So, self-care be the first one. The second one be community. Wanting to make your family better, as Marshall alluded to, focusing on family and loved ones. And then third would be culture. You know, we need to try to unite to combat some of these illnesses and conditions that plague our communities. Like Marshall said, a lot of these things can be preventative or proactive, but you got to know how to do those or have the resources available to be able to do that. And I think that's one of the biggest obstacles that we face in our culture, is that it's not affordable or it's not available in a lot of our communities.
Yeah. How would you say that having the individual at the center, how would that actually show up in the way you serve your members? Is it through like the initiative of your peers, or how would you say that that's shown?
I mean, doing getting to know the individual from the beginning. Doing an extensive analysis or interview process where we know not only their medical conditions. I think sometimes a lot of the things we treat in the medical community are secondary to environmental factors. For instance, if someone comes in and we're treating them for high blood pressure, we just put them on medication, but maybe there's an underlying cause that may be reversible. The majority are unknown why we get high blood pressure, but we may be dealing with someone who just, unfortunately lost their home. They're not able to pay the mortgage. They're in tremendous amount of debt. So that's the cause, so we can treat the symptom, but, how can we maybe get resources available, even though it's outside of medicine, within the community and network with some of these resources to help our patients individually so they may not need that secondary treatment and treating the cause from the beginning.
Yeah. You.
I have nothing to add to
All
that.
right. No worries. No worries. Can you talk just a little bit about what your average day-to-day looks like in a position?
Just currently or with Healthy You?
Probably you can answer either like
Okay.
individually or as
Okay.
if I was a member there.
Okay, so Healthy You we're in the development process. Right now, currently, I'm a practicing primary care physician, so a typical day is just seeing patients. What we hope to be able to provide, let me rephrase that, what we will provide with Healthy You is a basis where people can be educated and not just the lecture format of blah, 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 or here's a handout. We want to make it interactive. We want to make it fun because for me, I'm a visual person and I have to be involved. It's hard for me to sit and read something and learn in that way. But if I do questions and I miss them, then I understand it. Or unfortunately, if you put me on the spot and I miss it, then I'm not going to forget it in the future. So we want to make it engaging and make it where people can come in and be comfortable. So we want to be able to provide, for instance, like a virtual or in-person class participation, where, again, we may get them involved with quizzes, even make it fun where whoever gets the high score may be rewarding, but then taking that information and be able to provide it in an education format and possibly have colleagues or of my peers involved to help with the education. So nutritionists, trainers. Mental health is a big component we want to focus on because that is so huge in our culture right now. But again, provide programs where I mentioned making it affordable. So we're networking with businesses to provide healthcare services so our members may get a discount. But also getting out in the community and be doing cooking demonstrations, things of that nature where they're directly involved instead of just sitting and expected to read. that's not done me well over the years. It's easy to sit in the office and say you need to eat better and go buy organic foods and things like that. But if people don't have the means, then you're preaching to the, you might as well be talking to the wall. So we need to be we want to be that advocate to get out there and help them get those resources or make them, like I said, affordable or easier to get.
Yeah, yeah. I know you're currently working on a powerful initiative through Healthy You. Can you tell us what it's all about and what you're aiming to accomplish?
Okay. Again, the overall goal is to we want to make wellness affordable. We want to provide credible information, so it's not looking like we're just selling you a product to get a back end check. There's a lot of great supplements out there, but it's a lot of dangerous ones as well. Same with medications. So overall, we want to build a network where, again, it provides you with the resources that you need to have a healthy life. Whether it's one of the things we'll be able to provide is 24/7 telemedicine and access to not only primary care and acute care, but as mental health support as well. We'll be able to get you discount on prescriptions. If your medication falls within that formulary, then that'll be covered under the membership fee. And the final component, I'm missing one. Marshall, what was it? The classes. I'm sorry. It was a third component. I'm talking too fast. I
Yeah,
forgot
no.
the third one. But that'll be the main basis of Healthy You, and then to try to expand it across. So these sources are not only available within our state lines, but other members that are in other states, we'd be able to get them the services that they may not be able to get there.
Nice.
Yeah, and if they're in our state, they'd have access to you within this
Absolutely.
specific region. So having direct access to a doctor when necessary is also a part of this as well.
Absolutely. How does this initiative tie into your mission for transforming healthcare through education? Because I like how you were saying, instead of just telling you what you need, I'm going to show you how the benefits will reward you. So how would you say transforming healthcare through education, what's your goal with that?
Again, with working with Marshall, marketing is just, you don't get that in medicine. So it's opened my eyes to the intensity and all the work that is put in behind the scenes to get that. So we want to make sure that the marketing that's being provided in the media is understood to the patient. You see a lot of these commercials, no disrespect to these companies, but there's medications that are being advertised on between every other segment of a show, and it's you get this nice presentation, and then it's like I call it the auctioneer's voice at the end when they're going over all the side effects, a rapid fire, and it's like, you're talking about fatality and some serious side effects, and it's just being run through like, but again, we're in a culture, like Marshall mentioned, where we want immediate gratification and an immediate answer. And a lot of these conditions that we're dealing with or living with, these things didn't develop overnight. So unfortunately, they're not going to be solved overnight. So we want to be able, again, it may be a slower process, but we're going to get you the right way, in a sustainable way, in a life-changing way that hopefully stays that way for you, and it's not instant gratification and then a huge setback, because you didn't make the lifestyle changes you needed to get there. And that's what we're hoping this education provides. Like I said, in a friendly way where it's not just, feeling like you're back in school
Yeah.
and constantly being lectured. So, again, getting out in the community, making ourselves aware of and again, we want to work with local businesses, small businesses that are in this industry and drive individuals to them, or at least make individuals aware of the services that are in their community.
Yeah, I think it's equally as important to think about it from the perspective of, the community as a whole. Too often, we're talking about individuals when you talk about healthcare, but as a community, part of the value of being in a community is our ability to leverage one another's expertise, experiences, and not rely on our own so much. And by having this type of forum, you then learn, different ways that someone else has dealt with something. There are different things that someone else has been through, and you may not have to go through that same thing again. And so too often, we wait until it happens, or we're only aware of it when it does come to pass. And so this allows us to, in a lot of ways, get ahead of that and be in a position where we're speaking to people, allowing them to build trust in us, gain resources, and build a community that then relies on one another to get better.
Yeah, there's a comfortability aspect when it comes to feeling like I'm not alone. There's
Right.
people that have been through what I've been through.
Absolutely.
It's nice to bounce ideas off of one another when you're like, hey, you were in the same shoes that I was not too long ago. This is what I did, and this is how we can fix it. What kind of people are you working with on a daily? I know you mentioned local businesses, and what has the response been like so far?
Everyone's been very optimistic. They feel it's a need that needs to be answered in the community. You know, we're talking, like I mentioned a few, but nutritionists, personal trainers, pharmacists, mental health experts, cooking or chefs, excuse me. One of the things we'd love to do is be able to get in the community and do some cooking demonstrations and provide some tastings, and we can be able to explain why these foods are healthier for you. Because again, it's easier. Again, we've marketed to where we got the dollar menus, and again, we got people who they got kids in sports. They're trying to get them home for homework. It's easier and it's affordable to drive through the drive-through and just get whatever's on the dollar menu. So if we can help kind of fill some of those voids in the community, that's what the goal of Healthy You is.
You got anything to add?
I won't add anything to that.
No worries. What does a personalized health consultation look like at Healthy You?
It would be again getting to know the individual. Obviously, knowing their biometrics, the conditions they're suffering from, the medications they're on. But I think more importantly, what they're looking to get out of. What are they looking to get out of it? Not just, okay, your blood pressure is elevated. Let's get you on a blood pressure medicine. Let's get your diabetes under control. Your numbers look great. We'll see you later. No, getting to know the individual again. What's stressing you? How much sleep are you getting? How much water do you drink on a daily basis? What's your family history? We need to know everything about them in order to be able to provide a successful wellness plan.
How can students or listeners get involved or benefit, whether they have chronic concerns or just want to live a better life?
Once we get going, just hit us up. We'll have a sign up. We'll have a survey to go through to ask those questions. One of the things we're doing right now is as a test group, trying to get a feel for what people's needs are, so we can start doing some preliminary programs in the community to get some feedback. Because again, we're building this based on our members' needs and the things they're looking for to get out, not us just coming with the cookbook and saying this is what we're going to force feed on you. So we want the clients and the members to be able to drive, and we build our format around their needs.
Right. They want to have a need for control. They want to be not told what to do. They sort of
Right.
want to have a teammate in a sense, not a teacher.
Well, it's a partnership if you really look at it at the end of the day. And like I tell patients, some of them come in and say, well, you're the doctor, you tell me. I said, but I've learned over, my 20 plus years of practicing, depending on who you talk to, I used to come kicking in the door like this, because like Marshall mentioned, I'm an athlete. I grew up, we grew up in an era where what the coach said went, and you did that if you wanted to be on the team and you wanted to participate. So unfortunately, I've kind of carried that mentality throughout my career. So if you're there, I'm there to help you get better. And if you're not willing to follow instructions, why aren't you there? So I've had to kind of like soften that up a little bit to the point, and that's again when I realized it, like you can lead people to the water, but you can't make them drink it. So it has to be a partnership. You can give them the best information in the world and solve all the questions, but if they walk out of that exam room and they choose not to apply it, then in a sense, I feel like I failed, even though it's on them. So I have to work extra hard to make them be, all in on the game plan that we're developing in order for it to work.
Yeah, and I say another aspect of this is that community partnership and that ability to lean on others, because a lot of times, I know for me personally, there are times where I am a little bit hesitant about acknowledging that I have an issue or suggest or even reaching out to someone to say, can you help me with this? But as a community, if we're coming in and talking about a specific subject, someone else may bring up that very same question that I was hesitant to speak on, and now we're able to address it, even for me. And so I think that part of it is another piece that allows people that space and to be in the presence of a certified physician versus hearsay or some other friend just telling them something. Now they have the ability to get professional input on their situation without putting themselves on the spot, if you will.
Yeah, it's just another comfortability aspect to where maybe if I'm one of the first people to be, in a sense, a cheerleader for, like, I bring up this concern first, there could be an entire team of people that are dealing with the same thing but didn't have the voice to speak up.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Excellent point. I mean, even looking at society, how many things it just took that one person coming forward to initiate, an action and different things. I don't want to tap in, but I mean, just pick up the newspaper. So many things like now, this person came forward. Now this person felt comfortable
Right.
coming forward. So, again, that's an excellent point he just raised. I mean, I was that type of person as a student, because you get labeled that you do well in school, so you're supposedly a know-it-all. So I always had this fear or insecurity. I didn't want to raise my hand in class because I thought then people would be like, "Well, you're supposed to be the smart one, and you asking a dumb question." So I wait till after class to go to ask the professor or the teacher. Well, there's a lot of people that have that don't want to come forward. I mean, especially I'll give an example: men. It's very difficult for men to come forward with mental health, and let's just put it out there, sexual dysfunction. They'll call my office and say it's personal. They will not share it with the staff, even though it's vital that my staff knows why you're being scheduled.
Yeah.
But I understand that's a very uncomfortable thing. And mental health, we've been conditioned in our society, especially as men, and we just keeping it real as black men. That's a sign of weakness if you cry or you show your emotion. Well, how many people suffer and end up taking their lives because no one said it's okay to be like that? Come forward. We got a resource to get you some help with that. So hopefully we're going to be able to provide those kinds of resources or at least make them available.
Yeah, because not only being a man is it hard to speak up, but then being in a minority group, your voice is rarely heard, and especially with something that is so personal, it can be scary for an individual to bring stuff like that up.
Absolutely. And you asked about initial driving force for that. Healthy you, that is one as well. I mean, that's just a reality for us. I mean, and unfortunately, a lot of the detrimental diseases can affect our communities more often. So we have to be aware of that. And we want to take care of anybody. It doesn't matter what color, gender, whatever you are. Healthy you is open for that. But I'd be lying if I'm saying there's not an extra push for me to help the minority community because I am a minority.
Absolutely. Do you envision expanding the campuses or going more digital?
I think both. I mean, that's the beauty when Marshall and I've been working on this for a number of years. I've been blessed to meet him in the last year. Is that we think there's so much potential for this. And one of the beauties we love in establishing a relationship with yourself and the university is we want to be able to, if we're working with universities, then we're working in that community. And most universities are a foundation of each community that they're in. So we feel that we're helping hopefully the university is a mutual relationship where we're able to give students an opportunity to showcase their skills. I mean, you guys are the up and coming generation, so you got bright idea. You guys are way more advanced. I can't speak for Marshall, but technology and all this stuff. I mean, I'm walking around here like a kid in Toys R Us. So this is all new for me, But again, if we can develop those relationships and provide them students opportunities to work with us and showcase, whether it's in marketing or exercise science, the different departments, business, mental health, you guys get experience, we get the help, and the community benefits in the long run. So we can do that in person. We can do it digitally. I mean, we're open to whatever way we can get the information out there. As long as it's safe, we're willing to do it.
I don't know what Toys R Us is. He just aged himself out. I'm not sure. I know Amazon, but I don't know what he's talking
Yeah,
about.
we go back to Children's Palace days.
Right,
Don't
yeah.
clown me, man.
What would you say success looks like to you, either individually or as an organization as a whole?
Me personally, it's nothing better than when someone says you helped them, and that's what I'm there for. It's I don't take it as an opportunity to gloat. Oh, you got that right. That's what I trained for, and that's what I'm supposed to be there to do. I was, raised by a great man, my great uncle, and playing sports. He was like, I don't want to see you out there showing off. If you score a touchdown or you score a run, that's what you're supposed to be out there to do. You can be happy, but don't be out there and be cocky with it. So I think that's the most gratifying thing as a physician is when someone comes in and says, "Thank you. You helped me get over this, or you helped me accomplish this, or get past that." That's my gratification.
Yeah, I think for me, it's going to be more about the results. The journey along the way is always special, though we don't recognize that enough. But for me, it's really getting to a place where people are looking forward to what we're doing, and they're excited about learning more, being more involved, being able to share more, and really building a real community. And so once I start to see that develop, that's where I'll find the most satisfaction.
This was such an inspiring conversation between both of you. It was a pleasure having you guys here.
Thank you.
Before we go, where can people find out more about Healthy You Academy, connect with you, or access the platform?
Right now, Marshall is handling the. We're redoing an overhaul with the website right now, so I'm gonna let my director of marketing answer that question.
Yeah, so right now, Facebook, there is a Healthy You Academy page. We will be making lots of posts over the coming months to really start to build a community, get people engaged. But in the meantime, I am in the background working on the website, reworking that. I expect that to be up late summer, early fall, and we will be in a position then to really dive into our programs completely, making it available to the public.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being here. That's a
Thank
wrap
you.
for today's episode. If you want to hear more from the Taylor Blueprint, be sure to follow us on the UACron Marketing account and, of course, the Taylor Institute. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next one.